Hello, Luis, can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you now.
Okay, all right,
Yes,
thank you.
please.
Yes, I think we can now start. Sorry for the delay. There are some technical things we're trying to fix, but we're now good to start. You're all welcome. This is a very important day for us at Vision Africa AI. Welcome to each and everyone who has managed to join us today. We're delighted to have you online, and those who are also here physically, most appreciated. Today's session has two functions. We're going to have a master class on a topic to do with optimizing AI in banking and finance, balancing innovation, risk, and regulation by Mr. Julius Storach, who's the CEO of Vision Africa AI. And we're also going to have the signing ceremony where we shall be signing the MOU between the Memorandum of Understanding between Vision Africa AI and Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services. We're certainly going to be doing a lot of work together, and this is signifying the beginning of that process. So I think we're set to go, and I think we should go straight to the master class as we eventually get to the point of signing the MOU. With us, I'm delighted to introduce the presenter for today, the trainer, actually, the facilitator for today. The facilitator is Mr. Julius Peter Storach, as I mentioned. Julius is the CEO of Vision Africa AI, the company that's behind accelerating the adoption and use of artificial intelligence in Africa. And Julius is a member of the Africa-Asia AI Policy Network that brings together 7 countries from Africa and Asia. I remember last month, he was in, early last month, he was in India for the World AI Conference. He was previously a member of the working group for the development of the AI strategy blueprint under the Smart Africa Alliance. Previously worked with the government when he was Commissioner for IT at the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. He coordinated the development of the national strategy on the 4th Industrial Revolution, of which AI is part of that, big part of that. Furthermore, initiated the development of ethical AI framework for Uganda with support from the UN Pulse Lab. He previously worked as a director for e-government services and subsequently as a board member for the National Information Technology Authority, Uganda, that's NITA, Uganda. Mr. Storach holds a Master of Science in Data Science, a Master of Science in Computer Science, an MBA in Strategic Planning, and a Diploma in Law, among others. He's currently a PhD student researching on AI security. He also researches on AI in financial crimes. I'm privileged to welcome Mr. Julius Storach, who's going to take us through the topic that I mentioned earlier that we're covering today. And over to you, Julius Storach.
Thank you very much, Chair. I hope people are able to see my screen.
Yes, please. We're able to see your screen.
All right. I think we are ready to proceed. Thank you very much. Yes, our topic for this afternoon is optimizing AI in banking and finance, balancing innovation, risk, and regulation. We'll discuss issues to do with innovation, risk management, regulation, but with Africa in perspective. I wish to start by saying AI is not the future of banking, it is the present. Allow me, Chair, to briefly talk about Vision Africa AI. Vision Africa AI vision is to have a digitally proficient Africa enabled by artificial intelligence. And our mission to build Africa's ecosystem by connecting global expertise with local innovation to empower clients and communities. We work with partners globally to make sure we have state-of-the-art, secure AI solutions for Uganda, but also to develop the capacity of Ugandans and Africans so that they can be able to learn from benchmarked best practices globally. What we do include AI talent development. We have a partner called Global Skill Development Council with offices in Singapore, Switzerland, and the United States. We provide globally recognized certifications in AI and many other digital transformation and other areas. These are vendor neutral, affordable training. We also provide AI consulting services, advising clients who want to adopt AI, but don't know where to start. But even those who already started, we can do auditing together with our partners so that your system remained effective. We also do advisory services on responsible AI and cybersecurity. There are challenges of cybersecurity, even when the benefits of AI are many. The other issue is about developing the capacity of our young people in innovation so that they can compete globally. And also to make sure that we have solutions that are localized for the African context or Ugandan context for that matter. So for today's agenda, we are looking at the AI revolution in financial services. We look at some AI use cases, transforming banking. We look at the risk, what could go wrong, regulatory imperative, framework for responsible AI adoption, and Africa's opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, AI is reshaping financial services globally and here at home. It is estimated that the annual value of AI could unlock in global banking by $1 trillion in global banking by 2030. Also, 60% of African banks are now piloting AI, up from 22% in 2021. And we can now have faster loan decisioning with AI to the tune of 3x. Now AI is no longer experimental. It is core infrastructure for competitive banks. So banks globally are at different stages of implementation. As we shall see later, we are at different levels of maturity, both banks and financial institutions. So at the end of this presentation, you will be able to rank yourself and see where you have reached. Now, mobile money ecosystems across Africa is also a big incentive for us in implementation of AI, and it is promoting financial inclusion. Now, early movers are building advantages in customer acquisition, risk pricing, and cost efficiency. So we can't afford to be left behind. All financial institutions and banks need to come on board. The question of C-suite leaders is not whether to adopt AI, but how to do so responsibly. And that's the message behind our presentation this afternoon. So where AI creates real value in banking and finance are the following. One is in credit decisioning. One thing that is enabling financial inclusion, as I said earlier on, is because of adopting of mobile services. And other methods of assessing borrowers include financial transaction on mobile phones and utility payments. So the traditional way of assessing borrowers is now being transformed by AI. And this will enable many of our people to borrow and develop their lives. The other issue is about fraud and anti-money laundering detection. Machine learning algorithm can spot anomalous patterns in milliseconds. So reducing false positive and fraud losses by up to 40%. So what we can see here is that instead of going to check on fraud afterwards, we are able to monitor in real time how the fraudulent people or hackers are trying to do their things. And alerts are coming immediately in real time. So that is the benefit also of artificial intelligence. Customers have not been left behind. As you are aware, these days, people can use chatbots in different languages. And what we are waiting to see is for our banks to allow us to access our bank statements through chatbots. And the other one is developing hyper-personalized services, which suits the needs of individuals. And this leads to enhanced customer satisfaction, and it will also reduce the churn. The other area where AI is very useful is in risk and stress testing. Now, generative AI accelerates scenario modeling, stress testing, and real-time portfolio risk monitoring. So we are able to do predictions, do modeling, do scenario planning using data. So we are able to do projection to see where growth is going to come, whether there are some other risk associated with the implementation that we are currently making. The other one is on how intelligent document processing and robotic process automation can cut manual effort. Previously, we were using manual processes for capturing data. But now with AI, we can improve this by 60 to 80%. So this is one reason why we must adopt AI. The other one is also on investment and treasury, where things like algorithmic trading, asset liability management, optimization, and liquidity forecasting can give treasurers a decisive information edge because of the data which is available and also enhancing decision making. Now, I've already said that AI, something can equally go wrong when we are implementing AI. So AI is not without risk. AI is multidimensional. So we have risk in categories of technical, ethical, operational, and reputational. So in terms of model risk, biased training data can produce discriminatory credit decisions. So if AI is trained on the wrong data, for example, that is biased against women from borrowing, or people from a particular region from borrowing, therefore, people will be denied the opportunity of borrowing. So that is one potential risk that we have. The other one is that is of model drift. As economic conditions change, there can be inflations going on. Their government policies can change. And when the model is not monitored and audited, then it will get wrong decisions coming from the system, affecting implementation. The other challenge with AI is what I call black box decisions of interpretable to regulators. What this means is that we should be able to explain the model, how AI makes decisions. For example, when somebody has been denied the opportunity to borrow, can that person be able to appeal? How can the banks explain how the model made that decision? It is not only banks, because even in courts, we are having this kind of situations where you cannot explain how algorithm is helping a particular judge to make a decision, maybe to do with bail. So these are some of the challenges which can be attributed to model and also data which doesn't have adequate quality. The other risk that we have is operational risk. Over-reliance on AI with insufficient human oversight is also a problem. That's why we call it human in the loop. Human must always come and check the output. Some of you who have used ChatGPT and maybe Claude, below they normally put information that it is not 100%. So you must use your ability, your training, your insight to make decisions, to be able to edit. Now, last year we had some challenge with Deloitte, for example, in Australia, where the staffers relied on information from generative AI, and the Australian government asked them to refund money. So that's why human oversight and insight is critical as far as implementation of AI is concerned. The other one is third-party vendor concentration risk. Now, you may find financial institutions or banks focusing a lot on some of the big names. And yet, when there is a problem with AI from those institutions, then we can get a challenge. That's why we must have a balance, probably even from geographical location, if we are to buy some of these solutions. Are we going to rely solely on, I don't want to necessarily mention some of the continents, but we should be able to balance. You should not concentrate all your software from one vendor, because when something goes wrong with that vendor, then you should also have backup plans and plan B. What if something goes wrong with AI? What are you going to do? So the other one is about system outages in AI-dependent core processes. Now, system outages can come out of many things. There can be cyber attacks, the network can fail, the infrastructure can fail, even human beings can fail the system. So we should always be ready with plan B on how to step in. And the solution will be able to see some of the mitigation measures in the subsequent slides. The other one is on cybersecurity risk. Now, this is a big issue. Adversarial attacks, which manipulate models, model outputs. Now, models, computer model, AI models can be attacked so that they produce the unintended results. And then the other one is also to do with data. Data can be corrupted, and we end up not getting the correct results. Example we can give is self-driving cars. Some of the problem that you can find is the car is trained on how to interpret road signs. But when some stickers are put on the road signs, the self-driving cars fail to interpret correctly. And therefore, they can, instead of stopping, they can accelerate. So that is attributed to poisoning or manipulation of these models and the data. Now, the other one is on AI-powered deepfake fraud targeting executives. This has also been a big problem, and it is a growing problem. It is also called CEO fraud or whaling. It is part of what they call phishing. And these days, you get a lot of messages on the email system asking you to click certain links so that either you get a benefit or they put fear in you to click certain links. And in the process, you're attacked. And now we also have what they call phishing. Even voices are being cloned. And last year, a company called Harup in Singapore lost up to $25 million because they cloned the video, which was showing as if the instruction was being given from the chief executive in order to pass this payment. And also in Italy, I think the Minister of Defense was voice was also cloned, and up to €1 million was lost. So deepfake is another big issue that is affecting implementation of AI in banking and financial services. Finally, on the issue of what can still go wrong on regulatory, has to do with regulations and reputation. There are non-compliance with emerging AI regulations. We know that the EU has come up with an AI law. South Korea has also come up with AI law, and a number of other countries are in the process of developing. Locally here, we have guidelines from Bank of Uganda on how some of these technologies can be adopted. So we must comply with these laws and regulations and frameworks if we have to be safe. Then on the reputation, we also have issues of customer backlash. If customers find that the decisions being made by AI are unfair to them, they will decide to boycott the services from particular financial institutions or banks. So this is something that we must pay attention to. Then the other one is liability gaps when AI causes harm. So when AI causes harm, whom are you going to sue? Is it the person who developed the software? Is it the person the middleman who delivered it, or the company that deployed it? So those are some of the gaps that we find in the issue of implementation. Some countries have come up with what they call strict liability on especially maybe the implementer, so that in the event that something goes wrong, you who deployed it finally is the one who is sued, because you can't sue the AI. Now, in summary, these are the major risks that can face banks and financial institutions in implementation. The first one is regulatory breach. Issues of compliance. If we don't comply, we can pay heavy fines to regulators. I've already talked about the challenges of deepfake. We have talked about bias credit AI and adversarial attack attributed also to AI. So AI can be used to protect, but also to attack. Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned the issues of compliance and regulations. Not all countries have laws and regulation to do with AI. So a few examples we have include the EU AI Act, which provides risk-based AI classification. High-risk AI in credit scoring requires human oversight and explainability. Explainability, I said, has to do with how AI makes decisions. There are technologies or techniques that can be used for that. But because this presentation is focused to CEOs and directors and C-suite executives, we don't go into explaining algorithms in this presentation. The other one is called Basel AI Guidance, which is expects banks to have model risk management frameworks covering AI, machine learning, and machine learning models. So what we can ask, how many financial institutions have risk management models or frameworks for AI? The other one is to do with the financial intelligence task force, I think, which is to AI in machine anti-money laundering and countering financing of terrorism, which must be, AI must be auditable and must not introduce new money laundering vulnerabilities. The other law that we can benchmark from the US, which also introduce explainability requirements. In Uganda, we are still at the process of developing AI policy and implementation strategy. which will probably recommend amending of some laws to be compliant, AI compliant, or probably it will recommend coming up with substantive law. So that is something that the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance is currently working on. Bank of Uganda also has some frameworks which requires compliance. NITAU and the Ministry of ICT came up with the Data Protection and Privacy Act, which requires consent, and also the data that you collect should be limited to the purpose for which it is collected, but also it should be minimum. You collect only sufficient amount of data, not excess. So this is part of the requirements under data protection and privacy law. Now, the East African leaders bank leaders have also been meeting in order to promote cross-border financial transactions. So we have Bank of Uganda, Central Bank of Kenya, the National Bank of Rwanda, Bank of Tanzania, working together to promote cross-border flows. But there is also discussion at the EAC level on the EAC AI strategy, which will help to make recommendations on what needs to be done. The other one is financial inclusion. We said AI will promote financial inclusion because the mode of assessment is not only on whether somebody has land or house, but your transaction in mobile money, you're paying of utility bills. I also read in some situations, social media engagement will also be used to see whether you can afford, you can be able to be given credit. So there are key areas of intervention here. One is to do with governance. We must build a foundation. So AI ethics, policy, and board oversight is paramount. The boards must be actively involved, coming up with policies, coming up with guidelines to make sure that management use the right approach of introducing AI in every institution. Because the challenge we have now is a number of institutions, there is piecemeal implementation of AI solutions without proper guidance. We have generative AI, people are putting private inside information because they don't want to waste a lot of time and put it into this in generative AI, like ChatGPT and the like, and they are being used for training the model. So other people have access to information which should be for the organization. So the boards must be actively involved, and also the boards must be trained in order to be able to understand this. So these are areas where Vision Africa AI can be of help. Then the other one, which is important, is I talked about challenges of risk, model risk management frameworks. We can borrow from other countries, international best practices, if we don't have model framework from our national banks. So this is one framework which must be in place. And then we must have audit committee, AI audit committee, that monitors implementation of AI, because you don't implement AI once and it remains the same. I said conditions can change, data quality can change. So you need to be using current data for retraining your model so that it consistently gives you the right results. Then the other one is to do with third-party AI vendor due diligence. When you are procuring AI. Okay. Okay, let me conclude with 2 points here, then we go to the signing ceremony. I talked about third-party AI vendor due diligence. We must be able to know the kind of vendor we are buying from, the capability. You just don't buy AI solutions from anywhere off the shelf. Otherwise, you you pay a lot of money in compensation to the victims and also to the regulator. I also talked about explainability standards for all AI explainability standards for all customer-facing AI. So we should be able to explain to them how AI makes decisions. There is what is called black box, and there is also what is called gray box. Black box can be very stringent, but gives you the right results. But gray box is more explainable. You can explain it more. It helps people to understand, because the kind of AI implemented also depends on the complexity of the data or the purpose for which. That's why we hear of deep learning, machine learning. What model do you use for which purpose? Thank you, Chair. I hand over.
Thank you so much, Julius Torach, the CEO of Vision Africa AI, and for starting us off with the masterclass, AI in banking and finance. We'll now we'll come back to the masterclass, but we need to perform a ceremony first. There's a need for us to sign the Memorandum of Understanding, which is a landmark Memorandum of Understanding between Vision Africa AI, which will be working together with the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services. So at this point, I think at this point, let me just move nearer to the CEO. I think at this point, I'll ask the CEO to make 1 or 2 words before we sign this very, very important document. I meant the CEO of, yeah, but you come near, I think. You need to come here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nyain, and thank you very much, Julius, for the masterclass already. Thank you very much, the team from the UIBFS, for this very momentous occasion. I would like to say that for us at the Institute, it is exciting that we are formalizing this relationship that is going to enable the banking sector and all interested partners in accelerating their knowledge awareness about AI and its use. I believe that the masterclass so far has already laid a very good foundation of the importance of this. It's good to know that we have something good with us. It has its risks, it has its opportunities, it has its potential. And that is all that we want to make sure that everybody who engages with us at the Institute and through this partnership is aware of on a deeper level. So today is exciting. And once we've put pen to paper, the next is to invite you all to make use of this very good opportunity starting yesterday. So thank you so much, and we can now go ahead and do the signing.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Storach, you want to say just the 2 words?
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, CEO, for having us. And this has been an interesting journey leading to the signing of this Memorandum of Understanding. It is important that the banking and financial sector gets trained in AI and emerging technologies. We cannot be playing catch up because the rest of the world is moving very quickly in adoption of these technologies. So we found it fitting that given our international connections and also the expertise that we have accumulated over the years, we should be able to provide not only capacity building, but also advisory services. And we have already talked about the issues of risk to do with cybersecurity. We can also be able to support banking and financial institutions in that space. So our signing this MOU signifies the importance of us working together to make sure the country and the region is not left behind. So we appreciate you, CEO.
Thank you very much, both CEOs from Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services and Vision Africa AI. As mentioned already, we'll be doing a lot. We'll start mainly with training. There's going to be a lot of training. We have good programs from Vision Africa AI, working with our global partner, the Global Skill Development Council. And also, we'll be bringing other products to the banking and financial services sector, especially in advisory, strategies, procedures, all those who can work with you to make sure we get it properly done, we comply with the regulators, and also certainly we will be making sure that we support organizations to secure their AI environments, banks especially, so that the risks do not materialize, so that we are all working in a safe environment. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to witness this signing. Where are the signatures? We'll see. Where are the signatures? There are the hands. Huh? I remove this one.
Hello, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, please. We are able to see your screen.
Okay, I think we can continue with the presentation. Thank you very much, and thank you for your patience. We had finished talking about issues of governance. Now let's look at innovation. We should pilot, prove that it works well, and then we should scale. You cannot be able to implement AI in all the areas at once. So we should be able to first pilot in critical areas and preferably internally before we start implementing it with customers. As I said earlier on, human in the loop for high stakes decisions is critical. We can't rely on the machine to make critical decisions. Even when machines make decisions, we should be able to validate. Okay, then the other one is about establishing AI centers of excellence within the institution, because that section or area where AI is piloted, other departments can learn from that center of excellence. And as you are aware, we have just signed, Vision Africa has just signed a memorandum of understanding with the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services. Talent strategy is important. We must be able to upskill bankers and hire fellow data scientists and AI experts in these institutions. So we must develop capacity not only for the technical people, but for people in human resource, people in finance, people in logistics, the lawyers, all of them require AI knowledge and should be able to use this technology, because the person who is going to be replaced from employment is the one who has not adopted AI. If one person is able to use AI, is able to save time, and is able to shoulder more responsibilities, definitely the rest will be left to go. Then there should be partnerships with fintechs and AI specialists. In the area of regulation, regulatory sandbox participation is key, because AI solutions must be thoroughly tested. And Bank of Uganda has a regulatory sandbox in place to support banking and financial services and fintechs. Proactive engagement with BAU on regular basis is key. AI is evolving very fast, and we must be consulting all the time, because as new developments come, the regulations and guidelines must be issued. Then rich tech for compliance automation. Compliance should be automated, because we cannot be relying on manual processes for compliance, and also relying on historical data. Compliance should be automatic, should be current. Then the other one is on industry self-regulation, maybe through Uganda Bankers Association, etc. So that is how self-regulation can also be done. Then we need to contribute to national AI policy and strategy development. I'm aware that Bank of Uganda is working very closely with the Ministry of ICT, and is represented at a high level by the Executive Director IT, Mr. Colin Babirokamu, in the development of this AI policy and strategy. In summary, 6 dimensions of trustworthy AI in banking. What are we looking at? We're looking at explainability. I think I've already gone through that. I talked about issues of bias, which must be addressed. There must not be bias in terms of gender, religion, income band. The other one is on the issues of privacy. In summary, data minimization, consent with our national data protection and privacy law, and in some cases with the general data protection regulation of the European Union. Issues of cybersecurity, systems must be adversarially robust. Model access control should be ensured, and AI-specific incident response plan established. The other one is on issues of accountability, clear ownership of AI systems at board, executive, and operational levels. Human oversights, I've already talked about this. Let me proceed on to the next slide. Now, Africa's advantage is that we are not struggling to upgrade legacy systems because most of our systems are fairly new and we can easily implement AI. So we don't have many burdens of legacy systems. So it is easy for us to get on board. And also, earlier on, I mentioned the issues of mobile technology, which will help us to leapfrog. Talent pipeline, we have institutions of higher learning. Like in the case of Uganda, most universities are now offering AI-related training, but also Vision Africa, as part of this MOU, will be implementing training and capacity building for fintech, banking, and various kind of financial institutions. Then we talked about the issue of financial inclusion using AI, which is very key, and no one must be left behind. And even the ethical AI framework of the UNESCO emphasizes inclusion. Then Pan-African regulatory cooperation. We can't work in isolation. That's why even at the EAC level, a strategy is being developed. The African Union has already developed a continental AI strategy. And earlier on also, we talked about other frameworks under Smart Africa Alliance, which can help and guide banking and financial institutions and regional countries to be able to develop their policies. So the time to act is now, not another time, not later. So all banks and financial institutions must move quickly. This is the roadmap now for implementation. It is suggested because, as we shall see, institutions are at different levels of implementations. We have commission. In the next 30 days, it is recommended that we should commission an AI maturity assessment across business units. AI maturity assessment looks at infrastructure, it looks at data, it looks at skills, it looks at governance, and a number of areas. And a number of the institutions are at different levels of development. The other one is on mapping all AI models currently in production. Next is we should establish an AI governance working group at executive level who oversees the implementation of AI in the organization. At the board level, at the executive level, who does that? That must be very clear from the start. Next is within this next 60 days for institutions that are yet to implement AI, or maybe the Affaring Bank of Uganda, that they don't have proper guidelines or regulations. But in the next 60 days, you could draft an AI ethics policy, which is aligned to the Data Protection Act of Uganda 2019. And as we said earlier on, you can't implement AI in all the areas of your institution. You can start by high impact area or use cases like in fraud detection or fraud management, in credit and in operations. And then as you identify centers of excellence, then you can be able to roll out to other departments. And we need also to continually engage Bank of Uganda on regulatory expectations for AI. And then in the next 90 days, as part of the roadmap, you can be able to launch your first AI pilot with human oversight protocols in place. You can be able to sign off your model risk management framework and upgrade for AI and machine, and upgrade from AI and machine learning. Then you can present board level AI risk dashboard with agreed key risk indicators. What are some of those key risk indicators that you should be monitoring closely? That is also key. So I mentioned that we are at different levels of maturity. You can look at this screen and judge for yourself which level you think you're at. In terms of maturity level, some frameworks gives us 4 areas, others give 5. But in our case, we have picked 4. The model that is used for maturity measurement. The first one is whether you are at the initial level with limited ad hoc or no AI activity in your institution. You may be at that level or not. Then next is those who are already experimenting. There are already institutions that are at pilot stage of AI. Then next to that is those who are already defined or established. You already have consistent, structured AI adoption across departments. This is not many institutions are at this level, but it is something to work towards achieving. So as the title of this presentation says, it is about optimization of the use of AI. How do we move from level 1 to level 4? What roadmap do we use? What shall we require to reach that level? So I leave that to you to judge for yourself whether you have already integrated AI in all your core business areas. So the future of banking is intelligent. We should make sure our institutions are ready. AI is no longer optional. It is a strategic imperative for every financial institution and banks. And risk and regulations are not barriers to AI. They are the guardrails for sustainable adoption. And as we said earlier on, Africa has a unique opportunity to leapfrog because of the high level of penetration of mobile money services across. And then leadership starts at the board and C-suite. So technology follows strategy, not the other way around. So we should make sure that we have the right strategies in place. We should have the right guidelines, either for generative AI and for other areas of implementation. You can even have institutional policy that will govern AI. So Vision Africa AI Limited is empowering Africa's digital future through responsible AI. And we thank you very much for listening. But I also have some particular areas that I would like to share with you. The areas of training and capacity building, in which we'll be collaborating with the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services. They are here, they are listed. We can organize, you can do international certification in AI, or we can organize for you master classes the way we are doing now, but for maybe a full day or 2 days, where you can decide on the areas where you need help, but we can have a discussion also and guide you and find out what kind of training you need. So you can do international certification in generative AI in finance and banking, procurement, those who can do audit, because you need these skills. You can either outsource or you can develop your internal capacity to be able to deliver this, including data protection officer certification. Because the quality of your data will determine the quality of your AI. Other areas of certifications are as listed here. Also certified information security officer. You can do certification in ISO related courses. And for banks and financial institutions, this certification is key. Certified PCI DSS, that is Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. And the other one is on certified cloud and cybersecurity professional. These courses are available. Please make sure that you join. And our coordinator for the training program is going to post her details so that you can get in touch with her. Of course, we right now for financial institutions, we work in partnership with the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services. But also for those who are not part of the banking fraternity, you can get directly in touch with us. You will see in our website, but also the coordinator of this program will post her details so that you can access her directly. We have many other offerings. So Certified Artificial Intelligence Foundation. Now this one gives you a general foundation in AI. It will take you through the algorithms. It will take you to, you will learn about computer vision. You learn about generative AI. You learn about natural language processing. It gives you different types of algorithm and how you can be able to apply. So this one gives you basic foundation in all the key areas. Now, we also have highly technical areas, cloud computing foundation certification, FinOps. All these are offerings which you can benefit from. Please get in touch with us. And also project management related certifications, which are really key, because in this era of every sector needs project managers. And even the project management training has been changing over the years. That's why now we are talking about agile type of project management, even in software development. And we say that certification is not only for IT professionals. You get human resource officers getting certified. You get in different areas, even in data analytics. So please get in touch with us so that you can get this training. It is affordable, it is vendor neutral, it is beneficial for your career now and in the future. Finally, is generative AI for leaders. The CEOs, the CFOs, the CEOs are not left behind. These courses are for you. So even when you are providing supervision to your staff, they should not fool you around. You should be able to guide. So thank you very much. So these are some of the offerings. And so thank you very much for your attention and for participation. And we have had a good opportunity with you this afternoon. And if you are not yet enrolled, we advise you still to get in touch with our coordinator, whose details you will see online, so that you can enroll. I've been asked to close the training at this moment. So it is my pleasure to bring this training this evening to a close and to wish you success in your endeavors in whichever area you want to implement AI, whether it is in a church, whether it is in a small business, whether it is the banking and financial sector, wherever you are, whether you're a farmer, you need AI. So I thank you for listening to me, and I hope you have been able to pick one or two things that you can be able to implement in your respective institution. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.